Welcome to the second video of my channel. So I was actually having a bit of a difficulty trying to set up this camera. So if you find this camera angle a little bit weird, please bear with me. But on today's video, actually I would like to talk about something that is really important to me. So actually what it feels like to be blind at 13, because this channel is going to be all about my story, including my blindness experience. So if you find this video useful, just please like and subscribe. But obviously you need to listen the story first in order to judge whether it's useful or not. So the reason that what I like to talk about this kind of thing, because many people think that, blind people, they become blind, they sort of just happen to be blind, and we sort of don't really know about their background story, right? So let me tell you about the background story of mine. And like I said before, I became blind at the age of 13 due to an eye disorder called retinal detachment. So a little bit about retinal detachment. Obviously, this is not going to be a medical explanation about the disorder, because if you want to find more about that, you obviously can Google that or get more credential information. But I think just speaking from my experience being blind at the age of 13 due to this particular eye disorder, I think a simple way to explain this disorder is just that everybody has a retina, right? I mean, I'm not talking about the retina display on your MacBook or anything like that, but everybody got a retina. And so this retina, they have a sort of like a membrane on the back of your eyes. So mine is like a pull out from its socket. So that's simply the explanation that I can share to you. So basically my retina was getting weaker and weaker, and by the time that I hit the age of 14, I think I gradually lost my sight very drastically. So what it really feels like, I think at the age of 13 going blind, it's gonna be different for many people, especially for those blind people who became blind since birth. I don't become blind since birth, so I went blind at the age of 13. So I had a little bit of experience about how the world looks like, how the people looks like, how, for example, the president of US, George W. Bush, looked like. Maybe not Trump, but yeah, so I had a little bit of experience about how the world looks like, right? But at the age of 13, I became blind. And one thing that I think many is kind of surprised to know that if you become blind, usually it doesn't look like, in this movies from Hollywood, you always see if people go blind, it's like a switch off, like a light switch off, right? So all of a sudden everything turns black. I don't think it doesn't really look that way, if you, to be honest with you. So I know that some of my friends, my blind people friends, they become blind like a light bulb switch. So like the next day everything they see is black. So that's really true. That happened for some people, but for me, the process was actually very gradual. So the age of 13, that was the first time that my sight was worsening. So it started with a little bit of a blurry vision, started with a particular dots on my eyesight. So it's gradually just becoming worse and worse, and slowly but surely the vision was getting blurry and blurry. So you saw the process of deteriorating from, you were able to see some lights, and then you were not able to see your pathways. You were having difficulty to just walk straight by yourself, and I think next thing you know that you were struggling to just watch TV, and you just need to really get very close to the screen, things like that. So for me, the process was actually very gradual, so it didn't really happen instantly, like overnight. Some people might go through the experience of going blind overnight, but for some people, mostly the experience was very slow, and I think I went totally blind. So back then, when I was 13, I was considered to be blind, but was considered to be low vision. So low vision was mostly that, yes, you are in the category of blind, but you're still able to see some lights. Maybe able to see a little bit of a shadow in front of you or your hands or things like that, but you're not really able to functionally use that vision, right? So that's considered to be a low vision individual. But then at the age of, I think the age of 15 or 16, and then all my vision were just gone. So that's the process took literally quite like 13, 14, I think around 5 years for me to transform as a totally blind individual. That was definitely not the best experience that any kid could possibly have, but yeah, the transition was in a way sort of gave you more time to adjust with your new situation, new condition. So would it be better if I just overnight turned totally blind? I don't know, maybe, but I think, you know, the slow process of going totally blind was actually definitely have, you know, more impact on me, especially to the time that I need to adjust and to transition from being fully sighted to totally blind. So to answer the question, what it feel really likes to going blind at 13, I think not fun. I don't really recommend anybody going blind at 13. Was very rough transition, especially if you are a kid, you like watching TV, you like just seeing new things, watching cartoon. I think thankfully, I also think back in the days, I think around 2011, 2012, gadget and social media, it was already there at that time, but not for me because I live in a village in a rural part of Bali, Indonesia. So the gadget penetration and social media was not really a huge thing back then. So was not really exposed to gadget, screen, or internet, Instagram, whatsoever. I think for a good thing, because if I did become blind around this age, I think it would be difficult. But I don't know, right? With just playing a what if scenario. But yeah, I think I will talk a lot more about my blind experience in the future videos, but actually just want to share to you guys a little bit of a backstory, a backdrop story about how I go blind at the age of 13 and what it really feels like. It feels quite annoying, actually. I think mostly it was annoying. Mostly annoying because you still like watching, you know, doing a lot of things with your vision, just going out on a bike ride and doing a lot of stupid things as what kids usually do, right? So I think it's mostly annoying, because you couldn't do something that you used to be doing that you really enjoy doing. So yeah, so that's all for this video. If you find this information useful, please like and subscribe, or please also leave a comment, or if you have any question about the experience of going blind, or maybe you have a family or your loved ones also going through the same experience, I think it's really important for you to just be there, giving your support, or probably